Welcome back to another episode of TheWorryWartGamer. We all know about the PlayStation news. They raised the price of the console in certain regions, not the US, and we all know about inflation. We all know about chip shortages. We all know about how much it costs to produce goods and services now with inflation, and then the producers pass that cost on to the suppliers, and then once those goods get in the hands of the people selling them to you, they're going to raise the price to make up for the losses that they've incurred. So, without giving you a lesson in economics, because it really doesn't matter, these are things that people do as entertainment. They're not necessities. So if you're feeling the pinch from inflation, everyone has to tighten their belt. The first thing that goes is unnecessary spending. Video games are not necessary. Going to the movies isn't necessary. Buying milk, bread, food, paying your bills, those are necessary. So moving on from that, I want to talk about the unique position that I feel Microsoft is in right now. I'm not an Xbox channel, I'm not a PlayStation channel. I certainly don't like services, and I certainly don't feel that Microsoft has created compelling AAA games that really pull me in. However, I have to be honest, the position that they're in is one that they couldn't have foreseen. However, they were smart. They were really smart to think about a low-cost barrier of entry for this generation with the Series S. And even though I'm not a fan of subscription services, it is smart to have Game Pass, a low-cost barrier of entry for things that you need with the hardware, games. When you couple that all together with these rising costs, with PlayStation now having to increase their prices, the ball is right there for Microsoft. And I don't mean that they're going to win the next few NPDs. I don't mean that they're going to win this generation. It's likely that even with this price increase, when PlayStations are on the shelves, people are going to buy PlayStation because of that brand identifying factor of producing really great, compelling games. However, long term, they can use this. This is something that's there for them. If they can get a game out, a AAA game out that wows the industry, or let's say they decide, let's go for broke here. Let's just say that all of our first-party games, even though they're going to be in Game Pass day and date, and even though you can also buy them on PC and Steam, they're going to be $60. We're not going to go to $70. There's a lot that they can do to combat the power of the PlayStation brand. I'm not giving them ideas or giving you ideas because I want Xbox to win so that you subscribe to a channel. I'm just thinking outside the box when I see things like this because they're very interesting, and they are in a unique position when you think about price. The Xbox Series S, even though, it's not a quote-unquote next-gen system, maybe games 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now just don't look as good as they do on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. That's definitely going to happen. However, they need to find a way to capitalize on these strengths that they have. It always feels like they do something really, really well, but then they just stop. Or they take 17 steps forward and then hop in a Lamborghini and do 180 miles an hour in the opposite direction for an hour. It doesn't make any sense. So what I'm saying to you is that with inflation, with the cost of everything, with a huge company, with a lead, with a piece of hardware that is more appealing to a general bunch of consumers. The PlayStation 5 is more appealing around the world to gamers. It just is. Now, with them raising prices, Microsoft is in the position of having a very affordable system, a very affordable service. They need the games. They need one game. Imagine if they came out with one game that completely blew the roof graphically off of anything that you've ever seen this generation. And then they talk about, a $200, a $300 Xbox Series S. They talk about that game dropping into Game Pass for $15 a month. Or then they do some sort of sale, or then they do some sort of pack-in for the holidays. Something. The ball is right there. The door is open. All they have to do is walk through. Again, I think that seeing all of this, seeing the need for a low-cost barrier of entry, and let's not forget, the reason that the Xbox Series S exists is because the PlayStation brand is so strong. They wanted to compete. They did everything they possibly could. They thought about what they needed to do to compete, and a low-cost barrier of entry was a good idea. A digital console, PlayStation followed suit with their digital console. It's $400 versus a $300 Series S, which is going down in price. You have to think about these things going forward. I'm not saying that Xbox is going to win in the next year or the next 2 years or the next 5 years. But when it comes to PlayStation, Rome was not built in a day, but it fell much quicker, considerably, than it took to rise up. And that can happen when you take your eye off the ball. The ball is right there. I keep bringing that up. The ball is sitting on I'm not a football guy, 5-yard line, 10-yard line, whatever. It's sitting there. You get a game out. You start to pump out good quality content that gets people excited about the brand. You've already got a system that costs much less to produce, and those production costs are going down. If you can do all of this, if you can get this vision to come together, and if you can get, quality content, because Sony still has that ace in the hole. Their teams are much better at producing particular types of games that create a buzz throughout the industry. If Microsoft can do that, this is the position that I feel that they're in, especially with their major competitor now raising prices. Think about it. Microsoft didn't know that there was going to be a pandemic. Microsoft did not know that there was going to be conflict all around the world. Microsoft did not know that there was going to be hyperinflation. But what they did know is that they had to compete with PlayStation and the PlayStation brand, and they made decisions based on knowing that. And now they're in a position to do it again. If they knew it then, which they did, then they know it now. And with a price increase, they are in a position to look better as a brand. Now, if they could capitalize on that, that's the big if. If gamers are even going to react to this in a way that you would think, or some people would when it comes to price, I don't know. If I had to bet, PlayStation 5s are probably still going to fly off shelves. And again, if Sony has an event and they show just content that completely blows people away, people are still going to gravitate towards PlayStation. All I'm trying to say is that in the past, they knew they had to create something to compete with PlayStation because they were getting stomped. And they made good decisions for them to compete. Knowing that those same people are in charge now, what kind of decisions are they going to make when they see their major competitor increasing prices of their hardware? That's interesting. And I think that, again, the analogy of Rome not being built in a day for PlayStation, it took them a very long time to create that big brand. But Rome fell considerably quicker than it did rising up. That's all I'm trying to say here. Not an Xbox channel, not a PlayStation channel. I'm not trying to sell you on a podcast or an idea. I just think it's very interesting. Do you think that they can capitalize on this? Or do you think they're just going to keep doing the status quo? Do you think that the games are going to be sort of just okay dropping into Game Pass? Or do you think they're going to go for it now? Again, the door's open. All they've got to do is walk through. That's my opinion when it comes to all of this. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. I'm very interested to know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.